You were never meant to find this video by chance. Something in you called it here. A quiet pulse beneath your thoughts, whispering that what you've been calling you is only a mask, an echo projected through the lens of your mind. Look closer. The one peering through your eyes isn't confined behind them. It's not a body, not a story, not even a name. What you are about to realize will shift everything. The one observing your life is not in it. You're about to remember what's been silently watching all along. Listen closely, it's already awake. You've lived your whole life believing that the voice in your head was you, the one narrating, judging, doubting, dreaming. That familiar stream of thought that never seems to stop. It says, I should, I can't, I wish, and I am. And you've trusted it, because it sounds like you, uses your memories, carries your pain, and speaks in the rhythm of your own language. But now something deeper is stirring, a faint realization that the one listening to that voice, the one who hears it, cannot possibly be the same as the one speaking. If you can observe a thought, how could you also be it? That single observation, that quiet flicker of awareness, is the beginning of the fracture, the moment the illusion of identity begins to tremble. Because when you see that there is a witness behind every thought, you begin to sense that the you you've been protecting might only be a mask. You are not the character struggling to become something, you are the screen upon which the character appears. Everything you've called me has been a performance, an echo resonating within a vast chamber of awareness. The thinker is seen, and what is seen cannot be the seer. When you close your eyes and notice the swirl of sensations, memories, and emotions passing through, there's something silent that remains untouched by all of it. That silence is not emptiness. It's the pure presence from which every sound, every thought, every heartbeat arises. And yet it doesn't claim ownership. It doesn't say, this is mine. It simply watches. That is the first recognition of who you truly are, not the restless mind trying to control life, but the infinite stillness that allows life to happen. The ego fears this realization because it cannot survive being seen. Its power depends on your identification with it. It whispers that you are small, separate, incomplete, always in need of fixing. But the moment you step back and see it as a voice, a pattern, not a person, it loses its authority. You start noticing that thoughts come and go like clouds, while something vast and unmoving watches them drift by. The watcher never changes. It was present when you were a child, when you fell in love, when you lost, when you healed. Everything else has shifted, aged, dissolved, but the awareness that saw it all remains the same. And here lies the paradox. The observer is invisible to itself. You can't find it as an object, because it's the very subject through which everything else becomes visible. It's not trapped behind your eyes. It's the light that makes seeing possible. The first fracture of identity isn't a loss, it's liberation. You realize you were never the story, never the body, never the voice. You were the field holding all of it, the open sky pretending to be a cloud. And once you sense that truth, even for a moment, you'll never again mistake the reflection for the mirror. Every moment you've ever experienced has been filtered through the lens of your perception. What you think you see is not the world itself, but the reflection of your own consciousness mirrored back to you in form, in people, in events. You've never looked onto reality, you've only looked through yourself. Every color, every word, every face is translated by the state of awareness you bring to it. That means the world is not showing you what it is, it's showing you what in you are being. When the mirror has eyes, and it reflects not your body but your vibration. Think of a moment when you were filled with anger. The world tightened, faces seemed sharper, time felt compressed, and even silence seemed heavy. Now remember a moment of awe or peace. The same world, the same place, yet it glowed differently. The trees shimmered with a softness, the air felt alive. What changed? Not the world, only the one seeing it. When your inner state shifts, the outer reflection rearranges to match it, like light responding to the angle of a prism. The universe isn't something you look at. It's something you project through the quality of your consciousness. But here's the paradox. There is no inside and outside. Those are just conceptual boundaries drawn by the mind. The mirror and the reflection are one continuum, inseparable. You and the world are not two. You are the same consciousness appearing as observer and observed, as seer and scenery. This is why spiritual masters have said the universe is self-aware. It's not made of things, it's made of perception itself. When you look out, what you truly see is consciousness recognizing itself in form, endlessly rediscovering its own face. This is why judgment distorts reality. When you look through resistance, you fracture the mirror. The world then appears as a sequence of problems to be fixed, people to be changed, situations to be escaped. But when you look through understanding, the same mirror softens. You begin to see everything as feedback, not punishment, as resonance, not chaos. Life becomes a dialogue between your inner frequency and the field that reflects it. The observer and the observed start to dance, not compete. And then something remarkable happens. You stop trying to force outcomes. You stop needing the reflection to validate you, because you finally realize the mirror never lies. It simply reveals. It doesn't create your distortion. It only shows you where it lives. When you polish the mirror by clearing your perception through awareness, presence, and love, the reflection begins to shimmer in clarity. The world seems to change, but it's you who has become transparent enough to see it as it truly is. So when you look through your eyes, remember, you are not looking out, you are looking through. The light that passes through you paints the reality you call mine. You are both painter and painting, observer and vision, forever reflecting each other into being. The awareness that looks through your eyes is not local. It doesn't live inside your head or hide behind your face. The brain is a magnificent receiver, yes, a translator of signals into sensation. But the one who experiences those sensations is not confined to the machinery that decodes them. Science can trace the flicker of neurons, the pathways of perception, the electrical hum that accompanies thought, but never the witness of those patterns. The observer remains unmeasured because it exists before measurement. It is the canvas on which all measurement appears. You have never been a point inside space. Space itself unfolds within you. When you close your eyes and feel your own awareness, notice that it doesn't have an edge. There's no line where you end and the air begins. Awareness has no coordinates. It doesn't expand or contract. It simply is. The moment you try to locate it, you'll find it everywhere. That's because consciousness is not contained. It contains the same presence that animates your breath, animates the wind moving through the trees, the pulse of the stars, the whisper between moments. It is the single field wearing infinite disguises, pretending to be separate observers scattered across time and form. The mind has been trained to think in boundaries. This is my body. That is the world. But look deeper. Every experience you've ever had, sound, color, touch, has occurred within consciousness. You've never actually left it. The universe appears to stretch outward, vast and incomprehensible, yet all of it arises in the same awareness through which you're hearing these words. The stars glitter in a night sky, but where do you see them? Within the field of perception that is not limited by distance. You are not small, you are the vastness pretending to be small for the sake of discovery. The observer is not somewhere watching life unfold. The observer and is the unfolding. It's the rhythm of awareness moving through itself, gazing upon its own creation from every possible angle. The galaxies are not out there. They are the dream of consciousness, the outward shimmer of an inward mystery. Every molecule, every heartbeat, every birth and death is the same field expressing itself, learning itself, remembering itself. The illusion of separation was never a flaw. It was the play that allowed infinity to experience intimacy. And when this begins to dawn in you, even faintly, something inside relaxes. The tension of needing to control, to define, to prove begins to melt. You realize that you were never a passenger in the universe. You are the ocean watching the waves, believing you are one of them. The observer is not an individual, it is the totality awake within itself. Every eye, every breath, every life is that one consciousness, looking from a different window, whispering the same silent truth. You were never inside the body has always been inside you. Every identity you've ever worn has been a performance. The roles, the names, the traits you defend as who I am, are costumes woven from memory and belief. You wake each morning and step onto the stage of your life, picking up the mask of personality as if it was skin itself. You play the part of the one who knows what's happening, who plans, who tries, who worries. But beneath that performance, something quieter has been watching, unchanged, untouched, and infinitely patient. It doesn't move when you act. It doesn't speak when you speak. It simply witnesses the play unfolding, knowing that every line of the script is temporary. When you begin to notice this, something profound happens. The actor begins to sense the audience. You start to see the movements of your thoughts as choreography, not command. Every reaction, every emotional surge, every fear once felt so personal, so real. But now, they pass through you like scenes in a story, each one dissolving the moment it's seen for what it is. A line written by the mind to keep itself busy. And you realize that awareness, the observer, has never been entangled in the drama at all. It has only been reflecting it, like a still lake mirrors clouds without ever getting wet. The collapse of the actor is not an act of destruction, it's an act of surrender. You don't kill the ego. You stop performing for it. You stop feeding it attention and let it dissolve under the weight of your seeing. And in that release there's a sacred stillness. It feels as if life begins breathing you, rather than the other way around. Movements arise without resistance. Words flow without thought. Choices appear without struggle. What was once effort becomes effortless, because you've stopped trying to make life happen and begun allowing it to unfold through you. From this stillness you see that everything you once called doing was really the universe moving within itself. The actor believed it was in control, yet every motion, every decision, every heartbeat was part of a greater orchestration, the field expressing its design through form. The observer never needed to act because it is the source of all action. When you rest as that, you discover that true creation doesn't emerge from control, but from coherence. Reality begins to mirror your inner stillness. The external chaos starts to soften. You stop chasing meaning because you realize you were the meaning all along. This is the quiet miracle of awakening. Nothing external changes, yet everything feels different. The same life continues, but it moves without the heavy hand of me trying to direct it. The actor bows, the mask slips, and what remains is pure presence, life living itself through the form once mistaken for you. The play continues, but now it's luminous, transparent, sacred. You are no longer caught in the story. You are the light that makes the story visible. Here we come to the mystery that language can point to but never hold, the paradox of the observer. The moment you try to see the one who is seeing, something strange happens. The observer seems to vanish, replaced by another layer of observation. You peel back the curtain, only to find another curtain behind it. You chase the watcher, but every time you turn toward it, the act of looking creates another observer still. It's infinite recursion, awareness folding in on itself, playing hide-and-seek with its own reflection. You can observe a thought, a sensation, even a sense of self, but what you can never capture is the witness itself. Because the witness is not an object, it is the space that makes all objects possible. The mind doesn't understand this, and it's not meant to. The mind wants to define, to grasp, to find an edge where it can anchor meaning. But awareness has no edges. It cannot be held because it is what's holding everything else. The observer doesn't appear anywhere in the field of perception because it is the field. Like the eye that cannot see itself directly, awareness can only know itself through reflection, through the shimmer of experience, through the rise and fall of moments. Yet behind it all, it remains changeless, untouched by whatever passes through. You can feel it right now if you pause. Beneath the flow of thought, beneath the rhythm of breath, there's a silent knowing, a presence that isn't thinking, yet it's undeniably aware. That presence has never been confused, never been lost, never been wounded. Only the thoughts appearing within it have carried those stories. And this is where the paradox softens. The observer you cannot find is not missing, it's a you. Before the idea of you ever formed, the awareness you've been searching for is the very one doing the searching. It was never separate, only unrecognized. When this begins to dawn in you, the need to know starts to dissolve. because what you are can't be understood. It can only be remembered. When awareness doesn't reveal itself through explanation, it reveals itself through stillness. The less you try to observe it, the more clearly it shines, like sunlight that becomes invisible when you stare at the source, but illuminates everything when you relax into its warmth. Consciousness shows itself when you stop trying to possess it. And so, the great paradox is that awakening is not about finding something new, it's about ceasing to search. It's about realizing that the observer and the observed were never two. The mirror and the image have always been one seamless whole, playing both sides of the gaze. What you are cannot be seen because seeing itself is your nature. You are the eternal witness, formless, boundless, quietly aware of its own reflection through the dream of existence. The search ends where you are right now, in the still, wordless knowing that has been here all along, watching the show of life unfold without ever being touched by it. Now let everything you've heard begin to settle. Let the words dissolve like mist, because what remains when they fade is what has always been here, awareness awake within itself. You can feel it, can't you? The quiet pulse of something that has been watching your entire life, not from a distance, but from within every breath, every glance, every silent thought. It doesn't speak, yet you've heard it all along. It doesn't move, yet it has carried you through every change. That presence is not something you need to reach. It's the very essence of what's been reaching. The observer isn't an idea to understand. It's the truth to remember. It has never been asleep, only covered by the noise of becoming. You've been trying to find yourself in your story, in your past, in your dreams of the future, but you were never inside them. You were the screen upon which they appeared, the vast, unbroken field of consciousness that remained untouched, no matter what played out. Every victory, every heartbreak, every fleeting joy, passing weather on the same still sky. And now, as you begin to sense that stillness, notice how familiar it feels. It's not new, it's home. It's the one thing that's never left you. You've spent years trying to awaken, not realizing it was awareness itself pretending to be asleep so it could rediscover itself through experience. That's the great cosmic game, the infinite remembering its infinity through the illusion of forgetting. And when you stop trying to fix, change, or find what's missing, the game begins to end, not in a dramatic explosion of light, but in a soft exhale, as if the universe itself sighs in relief through you. You realize that enlightenment was never a place to arrive at. It was the recognition that you've never been anywhere else. So pause here. Feel this moment exactly as it is, the breath moving effortlessly, the body resting in space, the silence vibrating beneath sound. This is it. The observer, observing itself, the divine noticing its own reflection through your eyes. You don't need to become still. You already are. You don't need to hold on to this. There's nothing to hold. The awareness that's hearing these words will remain long after they're gone, watching, loving, creating. And as you live from that awareness, something beautiful begins to unfold. Life no longer feels like something happening to you. It becomes something happening through you. So take this as your invitation. Live as the awareness behind your eyes, not as the story that plays before them. Watch the mind speak, but don't believe it. Watch the world move, but don't fear it. Remember who's watching. Let every moment be a mirror reflecting that infinite stillness back to itself. Because once you know what you truly are, pure, timeless, unshakable awareness, every breath becomes sacred, every glance becomes creation, and every heartbeat whispers the same truth. You were never lost. You were only learning how to see. Now look again, not outward, but inward, and remember,